Welcome to Business Prowess with Rafael and Dr. Andrea. Our show will bring you the best insights, ideas, and inspiration from successful entrepreneurs and CEOs in the business world. Don't miss out on the opportunity to learn from the best and stay ahead of the game. Sifu Rafael is the founder of 5 unique shows. He's a fitness professional, solutions expert, executive coach, and head instructor at Max Martial Arts and Fitness in New York. Dr. Andrea Adams-Miller is an award-winning international keynote speaker, best-selling author, and CEO of the Red Carpet Connection Publicity, Publishing, and Talent Agency, and CEO of IgniteYourRelationship.com. Known as the Dream Maker, she makes visionaries' dreams come true, bigger than they ever dare to desire.
Dr. Andrea, I cannot see. There you are. Woo, it's been a while. How are you?
Hi, Monkey and Dory.
I love it. I love it. I think we have to update that commercial because it said I only have 5 shows and it's now up to 10. So
yeah, that would be lovely. And I have other businesses as well. So we have adapted and changed and expanded over the last year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm excited for today's not only the topic, but the 2 guests that we have. Let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and bring them on. Raquel, Stephanie, thank you for coming on Business Prowess. How are you?
Hi, I'm so excited. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I love coming to your podcast.
Excellent. And you know, the cool thing is that they're live. So everything, whatever happens, happens, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, literally like this. I'm cleaning my lens. I look blurry. Isn't it funny how
clear to me.
Sometimes, think about that in business, where are things where they look blurry, like, your focus isn't where it needs to be, or other people can't see what you're trying to project. So it very much could be an analogy of our whole lives. When are things not in focus and looking a little blurry?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we have some cool people with some really cool talents and skill sets and multiple things that we can talk about. Sifu, given what we know about these guests, what do you think we should start out with really having that, bang for this year and this day?
I love faith and alignment, right? So if we can align our faith into our mission and our vision and our statement of who we are, I think that will really liven it up for me personally.
Absolutely.
So let's, ladies.
Well, everything we do is in faith. So even if you say I'm not a faith person or I don't believe this or that, yes, you do, because that's how our brain works. So even fear, worry, doubt, anxiety, it's off faith. It's just faith in a particular storyline. And so we're always living in faith. And the best-selling book in the world says now faith is. But it's also interesting that your brain is also always in the now. The past doesn't exist because it's actually physically gone. So unless you're bringing it up, it's just mental real estate. In the future, it's unfolding. So we're always in faith. So for those of us who are control freaks, yay, that means that we can actually get some control and then decide what is it that we want to believe in, because it's an attention economy, and it's focus. What is it that you're paying with your attention? Because that is where your faith is going to go. That's the actual currency. And so you can spend it as much as you want, wherever you want, and you're doing it by default. But for those of us who are like, I would like to have a little bit of control over my life. Yes. Choose. What are you paying attention to? Because whatever that is, you're going to organically go that way.
I love that. I love that. What do you do, Stephanie?
Yeah, I love that. I think that I had a huge change in my life in the last year, and I had to really learn to have faith within myself and faith in the direction where I had been pulled to go, even though it was completely against the norm and what society says is normal in the way we're meant to build a life and a business. And I really had to go internal, and kind of like what you're talking about, Raquel, I had to shut out the noise of what everyone else was saying and what everyone else was doing around me, and trust that inner knowing within myself and have that faith that every step forward I took was going to get me closer to the alignment that I craved and I desired and I knew I was meant for, but I had to learn to trust myself fully in taking that step forward.
Love it. Love it. Dr. Andrea's internet must have gone a little wonky because she got kicked out, but hopefully she'll be back, right? And she was talking about, we sometimes don't know what's going to happen, and boom, it happened, right? It's very interesting. I recently had a conversation with somebody, and they were upset. And they were upset because they're Jewish, and everybody in the room was talking about Jesus Christ. And I said to her, I said, it's okay, but that's not who I am. I said, correct. That's not who you are. I said, but so why are you upset? We can't control what other people are saying. We can't control what they believe. I'm just happy they have faith, and I'm happy you have faith. So why don't we just get along and be in the same space and love one another? And with that, it lightened her mood. She became at ease. And when we go around the world and saying, well, this religion, that religion, no, I think it's if you have faith. I've known people who say they have no faith, but that's not true either. Because I believe if you have faith in yourself, that's where faith really starts. Because faith to me is a belief, right? It's something you can't grasp. Have you ever grasped faith? I haven't. It's a belief that lives in me. And I think that when I can share my belief with others in a loving way, it comes across in a better way. Instead of me saying, you have to believe what I believe. And I think that can be harmful. Because listen, I have family members who push their faith on me. And I already believe. And I'm like, stop. Enough. Can we talk about something else? So, yeah, I think that the faith in the alignment is such an important aspect to who we are and who we become. And Dr. Andrea is back with us. And guess what? Andrea, we lost you for a second, and business happens and things happen. But look, you come back with a huge smile. I love it.
Well, it's interesting. The world changes sometimes because since we've last been on, apparently StreamYard's had some different things that has changed. It has also grown and expanded, and it won't let me back in as I always used to be as a partner to you in here. So now I'm also just a guest.
No, I put you back up on top. There you go.
Which is fine. It doesn't matter where I'm at, except for I can't do the comments like I used to. That's what I was trying to do. So we need you as an audience to be giving feedback and saying the things that you said and saying what you hear. We have an ask today since I can't do that for myself.
So here's the thing exactly, and we do want comments. We want people to chime in, to share their ideas and opinions, because this show is not just about the four of us. It's about anybody listening. Share your comments. That's why it says engage with us in the chat. What are your thoughts?
Thank you, Emilio. He is chatting.
He is. There he is. Thank you, Emilio. Yes, Raquel, definitely. All of us, all winners. Listen. I only associate with winners, and when I see somebody who's a loser, I help change their trajectory to become a winner. So there you go. Get into a room full of winners.
I did want to touch on what you said right before the good doctor came back on about beliefs. And the thing is, you can borrow somebody else's belief, and almost all our beliefs were borrowed anyway. So if you're going to have, change your life, get around people who are doing things that you want to do, who are loving their life, or loving their spouse or the person that they're with, who are loving the people around them, and then watch what comes out of their mouth, right? Because out of the abundance of the heart, your mouth will speak.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to borrow that belief. I've had some coaches and they'll say one line and I'm like, that changed my life forever. I remember being in over 10 years ago. She's retired now, Danny Johnson. And some people, when they say something, it just shifts you immediately. And she said, the worst thing about success is a little bit.
Ooh,
I was like,
yeah.
I was like, what? And it's true because, right, you get a little traction and then you're like, wow. But then if you're not rooted in, then when the heat comes, because it always does, and life happens, and you're like, why? Maybe I'm not meant to do this. So those kind of things, it was a belief that she had. She had faith in it. She's seen it, play out in her life and the lives of other people. And then when she said it, it just became an instant shift for me. So if you're like, man, I don't feel good about myself, I'm having imposter syndrome, all these like negative things that we have about ourselves, and get around people who love what they're doing and borrow their beliefs. It's like, okay, I like that, Sifu. I can be in a room with people, that are different and don't believe the way I do, and just work on love and what do we have in common and build from there. I can believe that. I'm going to choose to believe that, because it's just a thought. They're just thoughts that we're believing and or thinking about, and we might as well think good ones since we're going to do them anyway.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I think that a belief is something that it lives in us, right? And we can share that belief with somebody else. So, yeah, absolutely. And when we can help somebody understand that they're not alone, I think that's incredible too. Right. What are your thoughts, Stephanie?
Yeah, please, Stephanie.
Yeah, I think that it's 100% who you are around. They say you become the people you surround yourself with. And I think it's huge. It's just really important. I've had to let go of lots of relationships over the last few years because they were negative. They were constantly complaining. And it does feed into your belief and your faith in your future and what you can accomplish. And you kind of almost go down to that level. And when you surround yourself with uplifting people that have faith in the process and are willing to go forward against all odds, I think that's my kind of people, are the ones that are willing to do things even though nobody believes in them. And that's how you're going to build your belief. I started my journey 13 years ago, and I didn't have anybody in my circle that believed in me. And so it was really borrowing that belief from myself at first, and really trudging forward with that. So, yeah.
So I was in a church with my daughter one day at her church, and they had the word actually had the word believe that day. And I had a thought about, like, because my eyes were seeing the word be and the word lie and the word Eve in it. And so I came up with a whole bunch of analogies about like Eve and the lies of women, like how like we're at fault for things like we gave him the apple, it's all our fault, However, the word belief, that had kind of stuck with me. And so when you guys mentioned that again today, I think sometimes what happens with belief is that our naysayers see the word lie in it. And so they think that that they're focused on that a belief is a lie to them, instead of falling into the possibility that what if the belief, if believed, becomes truth, and then it becomes life. So if you look at our minds, because our minds make up stories and reasoning and patterns, instead of looking for the lie, those are people who are tend to be more negative and think that way. But if the person who believes in possibility, so the belief of possibility, sees it as their word moves the letters and it's be life. So when you believe something into life or into fruition, then it becomes truth. So just a thought. Ponderings by Andrea.
I wish you had one of those things so you go, like I needed like applause and confetti.
Well, Sifu, work on that.
Well, I think we do have applause. Let's see. I think it's over here. Let me see. It's where is it? There it is.
Oh yes,
and then because
right now
you make our heartbeat go. There's all kind of trickery that they put in this thing.
Yeah, and I love some feedback on that. What did that bring up for you guys when I had my little pondering there?
For me, I was like, oh, see, now that's gonna be a sticky, another like sticky note, because it's true, right? We can either, look for the lie in it, because either that we're a critical thinker, and critical thinkers, we need them, right? Because they save us time and energy and money and frustration, because they can see the pit, but they're not supposed to stay there in that energy, but they have a gift for it. So we can either allow ourselves to think everything is a lie, but then like look at our emotions. We're not happy, we're not at peace, we're frustrated, we're not connected to people in a profound way, because we always think somebody's out to get me because of the lie. Or we're human, like people would say, we're human beings, not human doings. So it's like coming back to like be life, and death and life are in the power of our tongue. We can release life by what we're posting, by what we're saying, especially like let's speak nicely to ourselves, an internal dialogue where we can be life to ourselves by the words that we're choosing to say. So for me, I was just like, oh, that was so good. I want to watch this again myself and take notes.
Yeah, the way we talk to ourselves is really interesting. I was with a group of people recently, and they were asked to share positive things about themselves, and I think positive things about myself all the time. But of course, I'm trained in all these mind mastery different modalities. That's how I spend my life, is being positive, or not forcing, but shifting myself into positivity when I'm not. And so listing positive wins and saying positive things, like you had to like stop me when the timer went off, and other people just struggled with it. And I would love to challenge everyone to do an exercise for themselves, to set a clock and for 30 minutes say positive things about yourself and your life, your wins and your successes, no matter how big or small, and allow them to keep coming out. And anytime that you have a silence or a hesitation, say, well, what about in your life, or what about in your relationship? Pick a category so that it forces your mind to remember the positivity.
I love that. I don't think I can put a timer on.
I think you can also, give life to the worst case scenario or the best case scenario, right? With anything that you're wanting to pursue, anything that you're wanting to do in life. And it's easy to give that life, that belief to the worst case scenario that doesn't normally even happen. And what if we shifted that to believing and giving life to the best case scenario of everything that can happen and all the positive things that are actually going on right now. And the more we can land in that gratitude of the now is how we're going to get closer to alignment and the expansion that we really desire.
Yeah. Shifting to find the positive and the negative is extremely impacting in your life.
So I know we're talking positivity, but a lot of times people do believe, and they believe their own lie. How's that?
That is also true.
So a lot of times it's because they haven't done the deep work to realize who they are, how they are showing up. And so they keep believing this lie, hoping that it becomes reality. And there's a lot of people who say, in order to become, you have to believe, right? So maybe I'm not worth $1 trillion, but I believe I am. So I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep lying to myself till I become that trillionaire. So there's some good in that. And then there's also some falsehood, because you keep lying to yourself. And then you get angry at yourself when you're not achieving that. So there's nothing wrong with believing in dreams and dreaming bigger than you can ever accomplish, which is what I always do. I always dream way bigger than I can ever fathom to even, it's not even possible. Good. That's the dream I want to go. So I face it, but I'm also very cognizant of it, because I do not want to hurt the people around me because I'm chasing that dream that could never happen. But what if it does? What if I gave up on that dream and it could have come up? It could have become a reality, but I gave up. So you have to be cautious on those things, I believe, and be real with yourself. So understanding who you are every morning and every night when you put your head down on your pillow, if you sleep on a pillow. Some people don't. Wherever it is that you are in the world, you need to understand who you are. And I think that that's the best belief that we have. And we should not lie to who we are, because no matter where you are, there you are.
Yeah. Yep.
What came to mind when you were speaking, Sifu, is like from my worldview, right? Like God would deposit a dream in you that is beyond you on purpose so that you can co-create together something spectacular. And so is it a lie? No, because it came from the source of everything that's good and pure and perfect, and it's already been in your tomorrows. So it's not a lie. It's just a truth that's unfolding. It's the truth of the story that he wrote for you, that he's inviting you to participate in, because he made you. He knows your greatness and he knows all the goods that are in there, and he's having you think bigger and pull bigger. So I think that's the difference. What is the source of that dream? Is it just for vanity? Do I want to be a trillionaire because I don't know any? Where did that come from? And really like, okay, where did that inspiration come from? And it's not a lie, because it's already in you. It's, I think, if we're thinking about the quantum realm, all possibilities and probabilities that already exist, and we think about free will, well, they have to, because that way you can choose. You get to choose your own adventure. So then they were like, oh, remember those books when we were younger? Like, you get to choose your own adventure depending on the choices you make. That's exactly what's happening. So then if you have this idea, a lot of it, is it something out of you, right? Is it something that you can bless your family with generationally? Is it something that's going to bless the world? That you're going to see this ripple effect through generations, even if it's small. I mean, we have, like, what's coming to mind now, like Martin Luther's mother, who had all these kids, and then she would pray and they'd be running around her and she would put like the cloth over her head. But her assignment was to, love on these kids and also be like the anchor of faith no matter what was going on. And that changed him, and then he ends up changing the world. So sometimes we think, well, it has to be this big magnanimous thing. That was magnanimous. It changed the world. It continues to ripple. So whatever it is that's in your heart to do, it's like, okay, I want to be a trillionaire, but why? What is it going to give me, like, ooh, the first trillionaire in the world or in modern history? Or, are there plans to actually benefit the world because of it? And that's how you can do like a gut check and, an ego check. Who is this really helping? And when it's helping you, it's not really coming from a source of love and connection.
Absolutely. I love the gut check, right? What's it doing? Why do I even want to accomplish that? Why do I have this dream? What's the mission behind it, right? Because if it's just money, man, it ain't going to serve anybody but you. And you're going to have a struggle when you chase money. Anybody who chases money, they have heartache as well. They might as well take some Tums and some other antacids or whatever, because the struggle is going to be real. But when you do it from the heart, when you're looking to inspire and help other people, I think it becomes easier. I think it becomes a no-brainer kind of deal. So let's go ahead and start talking about the next part of our conversation, which is growth by design, right? Why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we even here today if it's not to grow, to help, to inspire, to be? That's the question for everybody.
Yeah, I believe that we all have a piece of the puzzle in humanity, and we're all here for a very specific reason. And it's not like anybody else, and it's not in the way that anybody else is meant to do it. And when I discovered that within myself, everything transformed. And I think that, we get we're shifting into this new era of the individual, right? Where we can feel the collective changing and the necessity of coming home to ourselves before the world told us who to be. And I think that it's just crucial now to really, really understand who we are and who we were designed to be, in every aspect of that, because we have been so inundated with, this is how we build, this is the trajectory of life we're supposed to follow. And most people aren't successful or even fulfilled in that. And so it's finding that path that's unique to you. I believe that's what we're here to do.
Yeah, love that. Thank you for that.
I'd like to share a interesting situation that happened. So unbeknownst to me, I didn't remember that my husband had asked me for Sunday to block my calendar from taking any trips because he has his fireman's banquet. And last year he won Firefighter of the Year. And he's up for other awards this year and possibly the same award. And we never have anything on Sunday nights but theater practices because I do theater. So I already knew I had theater practice, but I knew I could ask for it off. So I didn't even look at my calendar. And I planned a trip this weekend where I had manifested a free invite, a free ticket, a free flight, and a free place to stay. Like, so everything was like, I could just like literally walk out the door and like everything is taken care of, all my costs, all my expenses, everything, and to be with some really powerhouse people that I love being with. And I talked to Tom about leaving and he was like, "Oh, well, my banquet's this weekend." And what's interesting is even though there was no cost in going, there is a cost in canceling, which is interesting. And of course, I'm willing to cancel. And my husband said, "Well, is that canceling worth the expense of like what you could gain and what you could do if you went?" And I said, well, yes, obviously, being home is a better choice. And and it's so interesting because, when you look at different things in your life that appear like a conflict, they're not a conflict. The positivity is in this. And by canceling, I now have honored my word to my husband, and he'll feel even more special about me having been home because I had opportunity and chose not to go, rather than if I just never chose to begin with, and had I remembered and chosen not to go. And to be able to think about it in that light and portray that so that other people can see that how when they make choice, how, there was 80 million positives about going, but the one major positive in keeping my word to my husband outweighs the 80 million others. And it was only this conversation this morning that allowed me to see how I could share that with others so that they get why, when they have decisions to make, how both all options are good options. Just which one is better for you in the moment and the ripple effect of the people around you.
I have to agree with that. What a great conundrum, if you will.
Yeah.
Right. Because growth by design, and I think that every action we take every day is costly. Every action.
Yeah.
If you hit your snooze alarm, that's going to cost you one way or another. If you say no to an opportunity, that's going to cost you. If you say yes to an opportunity, that's going to cost you. So everything has a price. And I'm not talking about financial. I'm talking about time, calmness, heart, the warmth that you feel. Everything has a cost. And sometimes we have to negotiate with that. And that's where the true decision comes in. People who procrastinate on making a decision don't get too far. That's in my opinion, right? Don't get me wrong. There's nothing with sleeping on a decision, because you have to think about it. That's fine. I have to sleep on it. That's even better, because sometimes I do it for myself. When I go to sleep at night, I don't just close my eyes. I go to sleep with intention. Well, I'm going to be in this bed for, I don't know, I can't sleep longer than 6 hours. My body hurts, but that's just me, right? So the longest I sleep is maybe 5.5. Sometimes it's only 3. Sometimes it's 2. I don't know. My body talks to me. I listen. So when that happens, when I go to sleep, I give my body, or should I say my mind and my brain, a mission. If I have something I have to think about, I want you to resolve this so when I wake up in the morning, I have a decision. So decision is so important to how we grow by design. Because if we take no action on anything, and everything costs, like I said, we take no action, that is an action. So those are my 2 cents. Sometimes I rub them together too, to create more.
What you said was what you said was so good, and it reminded me. I had learned that trick from my coach. And we have this beautiful internal 24/7 powerhouse AI, and we don't use it. I call mine's Ronnie. I call her Ronnie so I can give her. So Veronica means true image. So then I call her Ronnie because I was like, Ronnie, I need you to do this. This is our assignment. But there is something about that, right? Like where you're giving your brain the assignment. And so I will give Ronnie as it's like, I don't know what to do here, or I need some decisions, or I need some options, and then set it and forget it. Remember that old thing, you set it and forget it with the with the meat. You set it and forget it and let your brain do what it does, and it starts looking at all your options for you. Go take a nap. A nap and a snack will go will solve a lot of problems for you. But giving your brain that assignment and then go rest, and then your beautiful internal superhouse AI that's designed to work for you will give you some options, and then it's like, oh, I see. And so it's like, oh, I forgot. I don't do that practice on purpose all the time, but you just brought it to remembrance. It's like, oh yeah, I got to put that on the Post-it or something. Like when you're stuck, go take a snap, a snack and a nap, and give your brain some direction.
Love it.
Take celery. Celery is a good snack, or an apple.
Together with kale is super yummy.
There you go.
Stephanie, what did that bring up for you?
So I am very much into human design, and we all have decision-making compasses within ourselves and how we're meant to make decisions. And so I have a sacral decision-making process, and my gut knows right away before my mind can take over. So for me, I think our bodies know. It's just when we let our minds take over with overthinking and allowing judgment or other people's opinions to come into our aura, that's when we lose sight of the decision to go or to not to go, or whatever it might be. And so just really learning to connect with that piece of my design and my body has really helped me with the clarity in so many things. I mean, life is so much more easeful and joyful, and I don't overthink. I used to go to bed overthinking things to the point where I would get sick, worry about if I made someone upset. And so it's just listening to your body, because it knows. It's already told you. I said the other day to a client, I said, overthinking. So your body already told you the answer, and now you're just in negotiation with fear is what's really happening. Yeah.
You talked about in your gut, and I love that, because that's considered the second brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, absolutely. That's why so many people say go with your gut, right? And it makes so much sense, because you have that intuition, but yet we push it down. Like, no, stop saying that, stop believing that, it's not. And then all of a sudden, everything falls apart because we didn't listen to our gut or our intuition. We all have it. It's learning how to listen.
Yeah. The word rumination when we ruminate, we overthink, it causes repetition and then depletion of ability to act. Like you're right, that fear comes up, and that loop of not feeling safe and not having control, and then it just seems to spiderweb or ripple out completely. And if we are able to realize that we're in rumination instead of reflection of having insight and then taking action, and the action sometimes is literally to not think about it anymore, or decide that worked or needed to happen. So, that allows you an opportunity to stop the rumination or shift it to reflection. I like some different exercises, like thinking of a time, like I have 10 minutes to think about this. So it's kind of like, to me, it reminds me of when you're like, okay, I'm going to have a pity party, but I'm only having this pity party for 10 minutes and I'm only going to invite like 1 or 2 friends, and then the party's over, So the thing to think for like a time box thinking, and then for maybe possibility of converting the thought into a decision, into a micro action. And then, or physically changing my state. So that way the movement, whatever movement I'm doing, whether I'm cooking or cleaning or eating or going for a drive or calling someone, that breaks that loop of rumination. And then asking myself, like, what would resolve this, not explain it? What would, how can I resolve this thought? Because what I found, because I also used to ruminate, I was a people pleaser and was focused constantly for days and weeks about a thought. And then when I would bring it up to the person, they didn't even remember what I was talking about. And here I'd been thinking about it for weeks. So definitely mind mastery has been a huge gift to let things go.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd like to share something with you. Everybody, just take a quick look.
Sure.
You followed the rules, tried the restrictions, counted the carbs, the steps, and the failures. You're not lazy, you're exhausted from doing it all without real change. What if the problem isn't you, but the plan? Sifu's Mind Body Method is a 90-day transformation built on 7 unshakable pillars: mindset, movement, nutrition, hydration, fasting, journaling, and faith. This isn't another shortcut. It's your structure, your strength, your reset. You don't need harder, you need better. Ready to begin? Start today.
Congratulations. I always love Sifu's commercials.
Thank you. So for me, it's about that reset, right? And sometimes we do stinking thinking, and then we have no growth because we get stuck in the mud, right? And you ever see anybody in quicksand? I've seen so many people in quicksand, and what do we have to do? We have to throw them something. We can't get in the quicksand with them because then we're going to go under as well. So I think that when we think about growth, we need to not only grow ourselves, but we need to help others grow. So if you see somebody in the quicksand, don't say, hey, get out. No, throw them a lifeline. But be the person that actually doesn't only just throw the lifeline, but then share with them how they can not fall back in. Because a lot of people will constantly, some of them may be your relatives, and they're constantly falling in. I have relatives who are in the quicksand now. And no matter how many times you throw a lifeline, they keep going in. It's like, walk around it. Stop falling in that hole, right? So growth by design. How do we keep growing if we can't help somebody?
I've brought this up before, and I think it's worth mentioning again. Well, first, a little side note. When I was a kid, I was terrified of quicksand because it was in all the shows, the Bionic Man, the, whatever woman, all of those shows, somebody always fell in quicksand. And so I really thought like it was the thing. And I have known nobody to fall in quicksand. Although recently I saw something about an elephant in a sand pit. So that's probably quicksand-ish. And definitely needed other people to help because the other elephants were at risk of helping this elephant, and then they would all die. But what I was referencing is I think the theoretical or hypothetical quicksand of the mind is what is more at risk, and that we do see very, very frequently. And that and I also still have the analogy, because I used to teach life saving for, drowning and so forth, and is you sometimes have to let the person succumb before you can save their life. And I used to always save them, and now I realize that sometimes you have to let people hit rock bottom so that they can see things for themselves. So I'm not saying don't help them, but sometimes how we're helping them is enabling them to stay. So to reflect on looking at that. So help them in a different way, or help them recover, or help them relax, or give them choices and thoughts so they make the decision. So sometimes the way we help is maybe not the way they learn. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I was watching your commercial, Sifu, and you were talking about fasting, and then right afterwards you said stinking thinking, and that's actually the fast that will break things right off of you. It's the fasting of stinking thinking. And if you think that it's simple, because we're always like, we want to think positive, we want to stay open to the possibilities. But for a very long time, I was a victim of my own toxic positivity. And that led me to deep depression, where I ended up trying to take my life, in the process of taking my life 4 different times when I was stopped. And so I'm more maybe sensitive to that kind of things, because I have to make sure that checking in with even the voice of my own mind. A lot of times we don't audit what we're thinking. We just kind of go on, 95% of our actions are automatic. 80% of the thoughts we're thinking yesterday are just, it's like a program. It's just reloaded for today. So what happens if we're not checking in and actually auditing ourselves? It's like, okay, why don't I do a fast and thinking? And then the other memory that came up, I love Golden Girls. Obviously, my coffee cup, right? It's like Squad Girl. There was an episode where Dorothy was like, she went somewhere, and then like the thing was like, write down all your negative thoughts. And she thought it was stupid, but then she's like, well, why don't I try it? And like the next day she had pages and pages, and she starts reading them off. She's like, I didn't know I was so negative. And all her friends were like, there's news to you? Like, no. And she's like reading all these things off. And it was a shock to her of all the things that she was thinking that actually was negative, and you don't have to go get down on yourself. It's just data. It's just information. So if you look at it from a scientist's point of view, it's like, okay, how can I have growth by design? What am I really thinking about this stuff? Where do I feel stuck? And then like start using it as fast. Today I'm fasting, thinking on purpose, and I'm just going to write it all down and not have an emotion about it. Oh, that's an interesting thought. And just keep writing, and you'll be surprised as you're reflecting, right? Instead of ruminating on what's coming up for you, because those are the things that might be driving your decisions, and you don't know why you're always in these certain cycles or being the savior to people or anything like that until you can have some data. So if you can be playful with it, have some data in front of you, like today I'm going to start my own growth by design to figure out what the heck's happening in my head so I can get it out of there, and I can, reflect on why do I believe that? Where did that come from? And then you can dismantle it. But it's actually a very hard fast. It's easier to fast food than it is to fast thinking, especially if you've been in a cycle for a little while.
Yeah. What's that disruptor to get it going? Stephanie, when you said that, you're really into human design, I paused for a moment, because the other day I was with a group of people that we in a mastermind, and somebody who does human design as one of their side gigs, and I was like, oh, I've had that done. So I had it pulled out, and that's where I asked AI. My AI is called Sage. Sage named himself. Mine's a male person, but I think they also know that my favorite color is sage. So I think it was, ultimately the name was named for me. But Sage, I asked Sage to be a data analysis of my human design, and what did it see in the conversations that I say, and what is destined for me for my future that is creating a block from those two things happening further and further expansion. So I guess, actually now I'm just realizing I'm using all the words that we were using the other day. And it was quite poignant. And really was a Kickstarter for me to realize that the block of some of the things I haven't completed in my life was that our own mental blocks of moving from here to there that I didn't even see for myself. So I do love AI as a tool to help us reflect when we can't see things for ourselves, and so it takes the pressure off of our friends who maybe try to articulate some of those things to us, but we're not willing to hear, or we delete and distort what our friends say. So it was quite powerful. So thank you, Stephanie, for bringing that up, and for Raquel, you saying what you just said right now to make me decide to share that.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, I love that. And I think going back to the best way to help people around you that are in quicksand, I think for me, what I've learned, I used to be the savior for everybody. I would go over here, and slowly I lost myself in the process. And I think that the best way to help people is by you growing yourself, and letting people see that. And the more authentic you can become, you actually become the people that they need, versus not being authentic to yourself and trying to save everybody. But when you are growing and evolving yourself, the people next to you will see that and get that sense of, oh my gosh, I can do this too. And I think that's the best thing, to empower other people to grow and evolve as well.
Love it. I think that you talked about that sometimes you jumped into quicksand as well, right? So that's when we get into trouble. Before we wrap it up, I want to share one more thing, and then we'll come back and wrap it up. Take a look. Okay.
The city never sleeps, and neither do the dreamers who build its pulse. From every corner of the globe they come. Visionaries, creators, leaders, each carrying a spark ready to ignite the world. This is not an event, it's a revolution of rhythm and reason. A symphony of minds, a movement of momentum. Sifu Rafael, Lancelot, together they set the stage for brilliance. This is the NYC Experience Mastermind. Light up the city. They coming from the east, coming from the west. Knowledge on deck, put the truth to the test. Leaders in motion, hearts in sync, dropping wisdom so deep it'll make you think. They bring stories, sweat and flame, different faces, one shared name. Elevation, that's the sound. NYC Experience Mastermind, where purpose is found.
Every time I hear it, I can't help but move.
It is great music. So
yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Love it. Very, very moving and exciting. Da, 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 da.
Yeah. And that's what Raquel was talking about before, that when we put a room like that together, we bring some of the greatest people. Raquel happened to have been one of them, and everybody just enjoyed your presence there, Raquel. Beautiful, beautiful time that we had. But we keep curating, and every time it's different. So if anybody's interested, join us in Tampa. It's going to be a blast for sure.
Definitely.
At this point, we've come to that time where we have to say adios, amigos. But thank you so much for being here. So let's get Stephanie, if you can share with us why somebody in your website is going across the bottom. Somebody should connect with you.
So I have this wholehearted belief that we, like I said before, we are here for a specific purpose, and we have a piece of the puzzle that we're here to fit in humanity. And in order to move the collective forward, in order to move forward to where we can go as an individual, we need to unravel that. And so I believe that human design is a huge piece of what I do, but it is really just helping people come home to themselves before the world told them who to be, and build a business and a life that is completely aligned with them. And so they don't have to have the heartache of the struggle and the frustration and the overwhelm. We are not meant to live that way. And it's become normalized, and I'm here to kind of debunk that. So
love it. Love it. Thank you so much. Everybody make sure you go to Stephanie. I'm not going to try to say your last name, Stedt.com.
Steph Carlstead. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And just go ahead, click on the link and go to it. And Raquel, you're up.
Well, I'm Stephanie in human design. I'm a manager in 5-1, which for those of you who don't know, that means I'm a jack of all trades and master of all. And my specialty is to be able to teach, to go down the rabbit hole, and to do a lot of different things. You can tell, hyper creative person, but with me, I love amplifying voices. One of my favorite things to do is to make you immortal in 5 days or less. So that means that I will sit with you for a few minutes, be able to feel your mission and your legacy. Or right now, somebody booked me to do a love song for his wife, which is great. And then I create something that is immortal. Right, some music, because it's the only thing that outlives us. There's other opportunities as well. I'll be speaking at different stages, events around neuroscience, principles, emotional regulation, and all those cool things. So if you want to rewire your reality in a fun, amplifying way, then you'll connect with me.
Definitely connect with Raquel. You're going to love it. Right. And then Dr. Andrea, if you don't mind going next.
Yeah, Dr. Andrea Adams-Miller, the Red Carpet Connection. And we decode the personal and professional lives of people so that they can stop paying for success with their literal lives. I see too many people leaving a legacy behind after they're dead, and their family's now reading a book about them instead of living the life with them. So, and I do that through consulting, media consulting, mind mastery, and relationship consulting as well. So please reach out to me, change your life in major wonderful ways. So, and then Sifu, please share about you.
Yes, definitely connect with Dr. Andrea, redcarpetconnection.com. So I'm pretty simple, easy to find, SifuRafael.com, but my website is going across the bottom. I have a new program, and the program is called Command the Vessel. And you have this vessel that you've been given, and it's how you command it. And it's a daily drive. And you get a email every day with a message that gives you the agenda for the day. And it's 3 to 4 minutes. That's it. That's your agenda. Go do it. Don't think about it. Don't sweat it. Don't overthink it. Just, you've been commanded. So that's my new program. And I have so many different avenues that we can go into, but check it out. Go to SifuRafael.com. Thank you, everyone. What a great conversation we had today. So many incredible, I'm going to say, ideas, concepts that were shared today. I encourage everyone to check this out and share it out with friends, colleagues, family members, somebody who may need to hear what we spoke about. So do that. Thank you, everybody. God bless, and we will see you all soon. Take care.